Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today in this video, we're going to be looking at what did your soul come here to do, feel, and experience. So this video is going to be for those of you who maybe you don't know what career you want to do, you don't know what your purpose is in life, you don't know what hobbies you enjoy, you don't know what you want to do, maybe you're just feeling a little bit lost, and you're trying to find yourself, you're trying to find why did your soul come here, what did you want to experience, what does your soul want to feel, what does it want to do, and through this might help you realize, oh, I have a passion here, or this is something I've always wanted to experience, or this is something that I've been lacking in life and I need to go out and find it. So that is the kind of energy that we're working with here today. Hopefully we can bring you some clarity if you have been feeling lost, if you don't know what your purpose is, or even if you just don't know what career you want to get into, or just even hobbies. If you don't know what kind of hobbies you enjoy, this might help you find that. So today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from, and these cards right here aren't going to be in the reading themselves unless they pop up again. These are just for you to kind of get the energy of the reading, which one you feel most drawn to. So go ahead and pause, figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. I've left timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But that's everything that I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into your reading. Alright, hi! Pile 1. If you chose the Starfish card, then this is going to be the reading for you. And I want to start off by saying that these first 2 cards, the Owl and the Dragon here, are meant to represent who is your soul, what is your soul like. And interestingly enough, in the most recent reading that I just did, I had these exact 2 cards come out for, I think it was pile 3 of the most recent reading right before this one. So if for some reason you feel drawn to that reading, I think it was about how your person feels about you. It's just a very interesting coincidence that very recently these 2 cards came out for that reading and for this reading. So just putting that out there in case you were looking for a reading like that. But starting off with what is your soul like? With the Owl and the Dragon coming out, when I think of these, I think old soul, and I always think like very wise. When you think of a dragon, this is like a being that is centuries of years old. You can see like with the eye being the forefront of the picture, the eye is the window to the soul. And the same thing with the owl, how it's looking directly at the viewer, and how owls are also considered very wise animals. I just get this sense of you being a very old soul that has experienced a lot of different lives, a lot of different experiences, and you hold a lot of knowledge within you. I think that you could also be a very cerebral type of person, somebody who's always in their head, introspecting about things, asking themselves about the world, asking yourself about yourself, trying to understand why everything is the way that it is. I also get a vibe that you might be, the word that came to mind is loner, but I don't mean that with the kind of negative connotation that it has. I think when I imagine you, this is kind of weird, but this is coming to mind. If you've ever seen those pictures of like bears or like dogs that kind of sit on the edge of a cliff and they're just kind of like looking out at the scenery, and that's not something that you usually see animals do, but because we don't think of animals as the type to be able to understand what they're looking at, but you see these pictures of these like serene animals just staring off, taking in the view, taking in nature. That's the kind of vibe that I get from your soul, is just this being, if you can even call it a being, that wanted to sit and take everything in, that's lived so many lives and had so many experiences. It just wants to observe and to feel and to understand and just enjoy the simplicity of life while also understanding the complexity of it. I don't know how that just came to mind, but that's how I would explain what your soul wants to do. And I very much get that kind of energy from the Owl and the Dragon. This is a very wise energy that's been around for a very long time, but I feel like it keeps coming back to these simple kind of lives, these, simple and as simple as a human is compared to a soul, because it just wants to experience the simplicity. It wants to also understand the complexity of human nature and human life and all that life has to offer, while also just sitting in just absorbing nature and just absorbing the scenery and feeling in the moment. And those kinds of moments of peace and simplicity is what your soul really enjoys, even though it also enjoys like understanding the complexity of things, maybe exploring different theories like quantum mechanics. Maybe you're interested in stuff like that, or you're interested in learning about the cosmos or learning about spirituality. I think that you kind of balance both of those things, and that comes from your soul. Your soul wants to learn about everything while also feeling the most minute, simple things. And I think that that comes from being a very old soul. It's this longing to understand everything again, but also just wanting the simple life, you know? So getting into what what your soul wanted to do, feel, and experience, starting off with do, I think that you could be a very creative person, or in the very least, somebody that wants to explore lots of different things. With the ideation card being here, what it makes me think for what your soul wanted to do here is just think of a lot of different things. You might have lots of ideas coming to you constantly, and with the Two of Pentacles, I think you like to be busy. You like to feel like you're in your purpose, getting things done. You like to feel in the flow of things. I think you're definitely a hard worker, but it has to be something that you feel passionate about. It's something that has to be creative or exciting to you. And so, you know, if you've been wondering about careers that might interest you or hobbies that might interest you, something that gets to really work your mind. This is going to be different for everyone because it is a general reading. So maybe math really excites some of you. Maybe it's physics. You love exploring. You love writing out equations and all that. For others, maybe you don't like math, but you really like writing stories. You love having these ideas coming to you and then getting it down on paper. That's what I'm thinking, something where you can ground your ideas in reality. Because I think that you have a lot of ideas, and when you can get them out there to like where you're just towing the line of like, you're not quite overwhelmed, but you're pushing yourself to your maximum capacity to create and to have ideas come to fruition, that is what your soul really enjoys. So I urge you to explore that. Like I said, it's going to be different for everyone, but I want you to think about the things that you enjoy doing and thinking about, and thinking, how can I turn that into something that I can do in reality? Is there something I can create with that? Is there a job or a hobby I can get into with these ideas? Because I think that that's something that would be really in tune with what your soul enjoys doing. That's what your soul came here to do. Now, as far as what your soul wants to feel, you have the Passion card and the Queen of Swords, which these two wouldn't typically go in tandem together because passion is obviously feeling, it's very fiery, but the Queen of Swords is all about intellect. It's about logistics and thinking above feeling. So I feel like maybe it could be that not a lot of things really get you passionate and excited, but when you do have those things, it's like a roaring flame. But usually you're very intellectual, you're very logistical. Nothing like gets you to go crazy, fly from the seat of your pants towards things. But when you do have those things that you're passionate about, you are really passionate about them, like more so than the average person. And I think what your soul wanted to feel is what it feels like to find that thing that you're truly passionate about, because those things don't come around very often for you. And it's not that you can't find the things that you love. It's like your baseline is like I said, very cerebral, very logical. You're not the kind like, yeah, you bounce around, you have lots of creative ideas, but like deep, intense passion comes along very rarely for you. And when you do find it, it's to such an extreme. Like your heart's beating out of your chest, you can't think logically. Your soul wanted to feel those two extremes. Your soul is all about balancing extremes, I feel like. It wants to feel the height of feeling while also being, you know, somebody that doesn't feel super heightened all the time. And I don't know how better to put that into words, but I feel like if this resonates with you, you know what I'm talking about. And that's something that your soul just loves feeling. It's hard to put into words feelings, but what it gets down to is whatever you feel truly crazy passionate about. Like you can't even sit down, you feel so passionate about it. That is what your soul wanted to feel. Not something that you can grasp and control, but just a feeling that rushes through you. It wanted to just embrace those feelings, embrace the fire, the adrenaline that courses through you when you do find these things. And I feel like they'll come along very rarely. You don't feel that kind of heightened state all the time. So when it does come along, I urge you to just let yourself be excited about it. Let yourself be passionate about it. Let those feelings rush through you. Let yourself be a vessel to those feelings, because that's what your soul craves. And don't overthink it. I know that when we get super passionate, excited about things, we start overthinking how they can go wrong, or I can't let this get the best of me. I can't, go crazy and run away with it, because what if something bad happens? What if I get hurt? It's okay to just let yourself feel what you're feeling. It's okay to let yourself get excited and passionate over things, even if you know logically maybe it's not going to pan out, or like maybe it's an idea that you have just can't come to fruition no matter what you do. At least just let yourself feel the excitement for it. Don't overthink your passion, basically, because I think you're a bit of an overthinker. You are a very logical person, but when that passion does come around, try not to shut it down right away. And finally, what your soul wanted to experience. When I first got this card, the consciousness card, the first thing that came to mind is psychedelics. So that might be something that you are interested in trying. Of course, be very safe. Get it only from like a trusted source. Don't just go getting acid off the floor. But what I mean when I say that psychedelics, what I really mean is your soul wanted to experience things that let you, how do I say this, like explore the fullness of your consciousness and the completeness of spirituality. It wanted to understand everything. And obviously, our soul, when it's not connected to a human life, it already understands everything. But it's about the magic of being this human being that doesn't understand anything from birth, learning and growing and learning all these different philosophies, these different religions or spiritualities, and figuring out which one most resonates with you. And just, that's what your soul wanted to experience, is this kind of journey towards, when I look at the Six of Wands, usually it makes me think of confidence, but I'm almost seeing this man riding this horse as if he's going on this journey towards his highest good, towards his highest self. Because it's all about, this building confidence, but if I replace the word confidence with like your highest good, your highest self, you want to go on this journey through your consciousness of finding who you are, finding out what you truly believe in, getting in tune with your soul and your intuition. And the reason I brought up psychedelics is because often people use those to explore their spirituality, explore their consciousness, and see things from a higher point of view that you can't really do. Well, it's more difficult to do when you're not on psychedelics. I personally have never done psychedelics, so I can't speak from experience here, but I have heard many different stories of people talking about the profound realizations that they have while on psychedelics, as well as like uncovering and working through deep traumas about things, and being able to connect to spirit guides or loved ones who have passed on. And I think that that's something that could really interest your soul. And even if it's not done through psychedelics itself, which it doesn't need to be done, you can still discover these things on your own. What your soul really wanted to experience is the kind of euphoria that you get when you go through life noticing the synchronicities, when you feel the euphoria of being in tune with the universe and with your spirituality, and being able to fully explore your consciousness in that way, And so I think that it's never going to get to an end point where you're like, oh, I understand everything. It's more so just a journey towards this end goal of chasing your highest self. And that is what your soul wanted to experience, is like forgetting itself, losing itself, just so that you can find it again. And it's, if I look at this consciousness card, it even looks like a journey itself. So it's never going to fully end, it's never going to fully stop, but that's not the point. It's not about achieving one thing, it's about the journey along the way. So pile one, that is everything that I have to say to you. I hope that it made sense. I feel like this type of reading or video is very out there. It's a lot harder to conceptualize and put into words because our souls are such complex things. You can't define them, you can't put them into a box, and just trying to put them into words puts them into a box. So I want you to take what resonates, and I'm going to say that here more so than anywhere else, because what resonates with you, what you truly feel intuitively to be true, that feeling that you get is a lot better worded than words could ever do. See, even that doesn't make a lot of sense, but if you were hearing things here that made you feel something, that made you connect to a deeper part of yourself, I want you to take that and run with it, because that is the truth within yourself. That is the truth of what your soul wants out of this life. So, Pile 1, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. Stick around because I do post about twice a week, but that's everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, hi! If you chose Pile 2, and I believe it was the whale card, then this is going to be the reading for you. Now, starting off here with the crocodile and the stingray. These two cards are all about what is your soul like? What is the energy of your soul like? And the crocodile really confused me because when I look at this card, I see behind the eye all this knowledge and power brewing inside. But it's in a crocodile, which, and don't take this wrong way, please, but when I think of crocodiles, I think of dinosaur, lizard brain, not very evolved mentally. But I think that you started out being, what's the word? Underestimated, that is the word. Oh my god, that took me so long to figure out. I think that you were really underestimated when you were young. The words that just came to mind were learning disability. Maybe when you were younger, you had a learning disability of some kind, or maybe ADHD or something that kind of held you back from the rest. And because this happened, I feel like when we're really young, the person that we are when we're young starts to define us for the rest of our life, even though as human beings we are constantly growing and changing, or at least I am, and I feel like you do too. You are the type of person that 3 months from now you are going to be a completely different person than you were before. But people kind of saw who you were when you were a kid and just ran with that. And you still have people to this day joking around being like, oh, well, Pile 2 has always been like this. And you're like, I haven't been like that since I was a child. And there's this kind of assumption that people have. Like I said, when I look at the crocodile, I think of them not as being the smartest because it's lizard brain, unevolved brain. But the truth is, when you look into their eye, you see behind that they have so much knowledge and power that was just waiting to be unlocked. And I feel like as you've gone through life, you have had to fight these kinds of allegations is the wrong word, but these kinds of ideas that people have cast on you about what kind of person you are. You've had to grow and evolve. And I feel like you had this need to prove yourself. And when I looked at the guidebook of what the crocodile card meant, when it's out of balance, it's a card all about lashing out at people because of insecurity, needing to prove one's worth. But when it is in balance, it sits and waits, and it's like a silent powerhouse that has all this knowledge and power from within and doesn't feel the need to prove themselves. And with this coming in conjunction with the Stingray card, I feel like you are somebody who has constantly been exploring yourself, your spirituality, your consciousness, what you believe, what you want out of life, constantly learning and growing. You might be on this self-help journey of growing and changing yourself and really leveling up and evolving. And as you do this, as you evolve higher and higher, you have less of a need to prove yourself because you know your worth from within. But when I look at the crocodile card, I know that that worth was there all along. It was only put down and hidden away because people underestimated this crocodile. Because people looked at it in first glance and said, oh, that's a crocodile, it's just a big lizard, it doesn't think very deep, it doesn't know a lot of things. But in reality, you look behind the eye and you see this powerful energy that's there. And it comes from your soul. I think that you have a very powerful and intelligent soul. And This might not be your belief, but it's my personal belief that our souls choose the life that they want to incarnate into. And your soul chose this life for a reason. Your soul chose to be underestimated so that you could learn and grow and find your own power on your own and feel just how empowering it feels to do so, and know that you are the one that created yourself. You are the one that built yourself from the ground up. And every bit of learning and growth and evolution is all because of you and no one else. And that is kind of a bit of what I see when I see, what is your soul like? Who is your soul? And so when I look at what does your soul want to do? What did your soul come here to do? You have the Passion card and you have the Temperance card. And what I want to recommend to you is the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, I think is how you say his name. Amazing book. I was forced to read it in high school, didn't understand it at all, barely read it. But along my spiritual journey, one thing led to another, and I was basically drawn to read this book again. And when I read it, I realized it has a wealth of knowledge about the spiritual journey and the spiritual path that I had no idea was there, because I first read it in high school. I had no idea about what it had inside it until I was older. And I came across it again. And the reason I recommend this book to you, it's a very short book, so it's not a long read if you want to just pick it up and read it real fast. But the reason I recommend it to you is because these cards here of what your soul came here to do. The Passion card and the Temperance card basically shows me that there is an end goal that you've always longed for. And I don't think it's as simple as wanting money or a specific career. I think that there is a passion that you have wanted for a very long time. Maybe it's to be taken seriously, to not be seen as this crocodile character anymore, to have your own power again. There's something that you have wanted since you were a child. Since you first incarnated here, it's always been at the back of your mind and only growing stronger. It's this thing, this passion that you've wanted. In the book, The Alchemist, it's called your personal legend. It's the thing that our soul came here to chase after, came here to do. And I think that you have a very specific one. But with the Temperance card, it leads me to believe that this is going to be a journey that takes a majority, if not the entire length of your life. This is something that you're going to be chasing after for a long time. And very rarely do I see, what does your soul want to do, be one specific thing that is all-encompassing and takes up your whole life. Usually it's a little thing here, or it really wants to do these kinds of things. For you, there is one specific thing. And of course, this is a general reading, so I can't tell you exactly what it is because this reading is meant for multiple people. But I encourage you to pick up that book and read it, because it might help you figure out what it is that you are meant to find in this life. It might help you figure out what is the purpose that your soul wanted to go after. And I know that you will find it, because this is a very strong indicator to me that there is a single specific thing that you really wanted to find. And it's not a material thing. It could be a concept. That's why I can't really put it into words. For instance, if I had to label it, maybe for some of you it's self-empowerment. And that's something that you have to go through this journey to find. And with the Temperance card, what makes me think it's going to take a long time is because you see that there's this long path leading up to this golden crown. And that is what I see as this end goal. But the Temperance card is about learning along the way, is about patience and taking stops along the way. It's not about beelining towards the end goal. And that's because the truth is, it's cheesy to say it, but it really is about the journey, not the destination, because you're meant to learn along the way. And it's not like you're suddenly going to achieve something at the end goal. The end is when you look back and realize that you are who you are because of everything that led you there. And that is the kind of journey that your soul came here to do. And it's something that you can do all throughout life. It's not like a career path where everything's laid out in front of you. Do this, do this, do this. You're going to be learning a lot along the way throughout your life, but it's all leading you to this great moment where you do look back and realize, I learned everything along the way. Like I said, hard to conceptualize, hard to put into words, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. And I really, really encourage you to pick up that book. It had a lot of personal meaning for myself and my own spiritual beliefs, and I can see here in your cards that it would have a lot of meaning for you too. So now moving on to, what did your soul come here to feel? I think that you are somebody who will go through and has gone through a lot of hardship and a lot of pain and a lot of feelings of loneliness. Even when you're surrounded by other people, I think that you've always had this feeling of being on your own, being like you can't quite fit in with other people, and you might even feel like sometimes like the universe has turned its back on you. And what I see here with this Nine of Swords and the consciousness card about what your soul wanted to feel is your soul wanted to feel the highs and lows of everything, and how I think it all connects back to this path that I was talking about, of chasing this personal legend of yours, chasing your destiny, chasing your purpose, or whatever you want to call it. But along the way, I think for a majority of it, you are going to be alone. And I don't mean physically alone, I think mentally, because you're very different. And I think you know this. You know that it's hard for you to truly connect to other people. And you could have friends, you could have a partner, but they don't fully understand what you're going through and what you want out of life and the things that you're trying to achieve and the things that you're trying to understand, because it comes from such a higher place. It takes a lot to be able to understand what you're talking about, what you're trying to achieve here. And people can't understand because they haven't had the same life experiences that you have. Every life experience that you've had, even the horrible ones, I mean, especially the horrible ones, have led you to this place in life where you think a certain way, you feel a certain way, and the people around you can't think and feel the same way, and it makes you feel disconnected. And the truth is, it's because I think that you're meant to go along this journey alone. And like I said, I don't physically mean alone, because you could have friends and whatnot, you could have family, but because your life experiences are so unique, it's difficult for you to find and connect with people that can truly empathize and understand what you're going through, because it's so different. Your journey is so different from the average human journey. I don't think that you'd be content just living the same sort of life that everyone around you lives, because you're not meant to. You're meant to do something else, and there could have been a horrible trauma that happened to you when you were younger that really, really formed who you are today mentally, and the kinds of things that you value and your perception of the world. And a lot of people around you that you meet aren't going to have the same perception that you do, and that can make you feel really alienated. It can make you feel really alone. And I can't tell you what to do here, because I don't have all the answers. I can't tell you to, just act like everyone else, or that a certain person is going to come along and suddenly you two are going to click and you have found that person that can understand and empathize. But what I can tell you is your soul chose this life for a reason. Your soul chose this life and these experiences for you because it knew, one, that you can get through it, and two, that it is part of this profound journey that you're on. And all that I can say is everything that has happened to you and everything that will continue to happen, so long as you stay on this path, so long as you focus on this end goal and this personal legend that you have, everything will happen for your highest good. And I wish that I could give you more reassurance on this, but I don't think that this path is meant to be all sunshine and roses for you. I don't think that your life is going to be all sunshine and roses. And so I can't just tell you, like, oh yeah, it's going to be fine. You're going to meet these people that understand and click with you, and la la la, you're going to be living in a rose patch. I don't think that's how it's going to be. I think that you've had a very hard life, and you're going to continue to have a hard life, but it's going to get better so long as you continue along this journey. And there's going to be no one to guide you and be there for you but yourself. And like I said, yeah, you'll have friends and family along the way who will physically be around you, but the only person who can guide you is yourself and your own soul and your own intuition. And I have this saying that I like to say, that when you let your intuition be your compass, the universe puts wind in your sails. And you're going to be on this sort of journey alone where all you have to listen to is your intuition. I think that you're going to feel profoundly lonely, but you're also going to be profoundly connected to the universe and connected to your path. And through through finding yourself and your self-empowerment, when you do get to the end of the road, you will feel complete. You will feel accomplished and happy and like everything happened in your highest good. But I don't think it's going to be something that you can fully appreciate till you're at the end of it looking back. But all I can say is just keep pushing forward towards that personal legend of yours. I really, truly, I wish I had more advice to give on this matter. I wish that I could just tell you what to do, but you're not meant to know what to do right now. You're meant to explore and experience and feel and go through it, even the bad, horrible parts. But there's also going to be good along the way. And I don't want to scare you here by saying that your whole life is going to be tragedy after tragedy. But I do want to prep you for the fact that a lot of this you will have to go alone. There will be a lot of moments where no one can understand and empathize, and you will feel profoundly alone. You'll be searching for other people who will understand, people who can give you advice on how to get through this thing or what to do in this situation, but people will look at you with dumb looks in their eyes because they don't know. They haven't been through what you've been through. They haven't had the same perception of you as you go through life. And so stop looking in the wrong place. Start looking for help within yourself. Start looking for value and purpose within yourself. Start looking for how to get through things on your own instead of looking to other people for the answers, because no one else has the answers. No one else has lived the life that you have. No one else has been through what you've been through. And it's definitely a very sad message, but I think it's something that you have to hear, because you are going to go through this profound journey through life, and all I can see is you are going through this beautiful evolution, and maybe you can't see it right now, but I can see it in the cards that it is leading you in a beautiful direction. It's leading you to become such an empowered and evolved, wise, strong person. But it all started off from people putting their boot to your neck and people pushing you down and spitting on you and saying harsh things to you, people not believing in you, people belittling you. And it made you feel like a shell because you are a child. And I think your inner child has a lot of healing to do. I think you have a lot of healing to do. But like I said, it's all part of this journey. And I feel so cheap saying something like that, like, oh, it's just a part of the journey, just be happy. I know what it feels like to be this down, to feel like you have no one around you, to feel profoundly lonely, and to hate the journey that you're going through, to wish it was over, just so that you could be like everyone else and not have to go through it. But the only reminder that I can give you is your soul chose this life for a reason. Your soul chose this life for a reason. And if you can keep flipping your perspective to see, okay, why is this happening for me? Why is this happening for my highest good? Why is this helping me? How is this something that a soul would choose to experience? And when you can find those answers, when you can flip that perspective, it will help you along the journey. But I can't tell you that bad things aren't going to happen. All I can tell you is that you are going to be the only one that can help you get through it, and that you have to. So I know that was very dark and kind of hard, but I finally want to move on to this last part of what did your soul come here to experience? And originally, the Seven of Pentacles was reversed. I flipped it to upright because I thought maybe, everything's meant to be upright. But now that I'm understanding what your reading is about, I flipped it back around. And what I see here for what your soul wanted to experience, the best word that I can say is hardship. And it can be extremely wild to think, like, why on earth would a soul want to just experience hardship? Why would you make me go through all this? Why would you make me go through this scarcity, this being put down, this being hurt, this being emotionally wounded? Why would you put me through this? And it wanted you to go through this, and it wanted to experience this with you because it wanted to understand and feel what it's like to get over hardship when all you have to rely on is yourself. How empowering and strengthening it can feel when you can get over this, and when everyone around you is closing doors around you, trying to shut you out of opportunity, trying to put you down. How empowering it can feel to be the one to burst through a wall where there was no door and say, I'm going to make my own opportunity. I'm going to make my own way through this. I'm going to make my own path. And even if everyone around me is telling me no, if everyone around me is underestimating me and not believing that I can do it, I am still going to do it. How strengthening that can feel. And if you haven't gotten to that point where you have been able to take charge and get over these hardships on your own, I understand the bitterness that you feel in your heart, how hurt you can be. Like, why me? Why would you force me to go through this? Why would you choose this life for me? Why couldn't I have an easy, happy life? And it's because, like I said, you're not going to be able to fully appreciate everything that you've gone through and see how it was for your highest good and appreciate everything that life gave you, even the shitty stuff, until you get to the end and you can look back. And I know it feels so cheap to say from my perspective, like, you just need to, enjoy the hardship. No, you're not going to enjoy the hardship. You're going to have to get over it time and time again. You're going to have to get knocked down and pull yourself back up, and it's going to hurt. It's going to be annoying, and you're going to be bitter and hate the universe. You're going to hate the world. You're going to hate people around you. But there is a time where you are going to be thankful for it. There is a time where you are going to be grateful for this life that you've lived, for all the horrible things. And it's insane to say that if you don't understand what I'm saying, but one day you will understand. And you'll be like, damn, that random tarot lady reader, she was right. I am grateful now. But like I said, I think that you are going to be living a very tough life. I think that you're going to face a lot of hardship, but like I said, it's not for no reason. It's all for the expansion of your soul. It's for the growth that you're going to feel in this life. It's for the lessons that you're going to learn. It's for how you're going to learn how to pick yourself up and strengthen yourself and empower yourself when no one around you will. So, pile 2. I'd say I hope you enjoy that reading, but I don't know how somebody could enjoy it, given how sad it was. But I hope that it brings you clarity on things that you've gone through in life. And maybe you can give meaning to some of these hard things, because one of the worst things is when you go through hardship and you feel like it has no meaning. And I want you to know that everything does happen for a reason. And maybe you might not believe that right now. But if you can flip your perspective, if you can start to see how things are happening for you, how things are pulling you in the right direction, it'll make everything that you're going through and that you're about to go through a lot easier. And that is the wisdom that I hope to impart on you today. So, pile 2, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day wherever you are. But yeah, that's everything that I have. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 3, last but certainly not least. If you chose the fish card, then this is going to be the reading for you. Now, I want to start off by saying that a soul is something that is very hard to conceptualize. And the way that I think of it might not be the same way that you think of it. But I am going to be using a lot of human terms because that's the best way to put it into words. So if I say something like your soul is somebody who, obviously your soul doesn't have a body, it is not a somebody, but it's the best way that I can put it into human terms so that you guys can all understand what I'm trying to convey here. So obviously take everything with a grain of salt. Just putting something into words puts it into a box and restricts it to those words. So obviously a soul is not something that you can even convey in words, but me trying to do that is putting it into a box, basically. So take everything with a grain of salt. These things are more meant to be felt rather than understood. So just wanted to get that disclaimer out of the way. So starting off, I wanted to start by seeing what is your soul like? In what ways could I conceptualize your soul? And the 2 cards that I got here are the dolphin and the crocodile. And these are very opposing, but at the same time, I see how they can go together. So when I think of a dolphin, and even just looking at this card, it seems very playful, very loving, very excitable, like an extrovert. It wants to be around lots of people. It wants to have all these experiences, very pure and playful. But when I see the crocodile, it's very reserved. It has this hard outer shell, and you can see in the eye, it still has all this color, this power, and the playfulness is still there, but it's hidden inside. And I think that that's because your soul is very pure. and it has a lot of love to give. It loves experiencing love. It wanted to come here and experience pureness and playfulness, and I think that you have a very strong inner child, not in the traditional kind of strength sort of way, in a way that it's very prevalent inside of you. I think that you are a very playful child, but just like the crocodile has this hard outer shell, you had to grow a hard outer shell because people would take advantage of you, people would put you down, people would belittle you, people would underestimate you. And deep inside, you still have this dolphin energy inside you, this playfulness, this inner child that just wants to be loved and to give love and experience love. But you're living in this human world where not everything is sunshine and rainbows, obviously, and you've had to grow this hard outer shell. And I feel like one of the biggest things that your soul wants to learn and experience is what it's like to be pure and then have to build this outer shell and then learn how to come back out of that shell again, even when you know how badly it feels to be hurt, to still put yourself out there, still be vulnerable again. And I hope you know what I'm saying here when I say something like that. This is obviously a journey that you will be going throughout your life. There will be times where you regress back into this hard outer shell where you don't want to be vulnerable anymore. And there will be times when you let that dolphin energy out, where you can let yourself be playful and excited about life again. And those are the two kind of opposing sides of your soul that I see here within you. And so starting off with what your soul came here to do, I think that you're a very creative person. And not in the traditional way where you're like making art and constantly coming up with things and like writing stories and all that. But I do think that you are the type that has a lot of different ideas inside your head. Maybe you've had a very big imagination your whole life, but as you got older, it was kind of put down. You feel like you may have lost that spark a little bit. And something that your soul came here to do is learn how to get that back, how to retain that bright, beautiful imagination that you have, how to employ it in the real world, even when people will put it down, even when people will criticize it or say, you shouldn't have your head in the clouds, why are you daydreaming all the time? How to still persevere when people have tried to stamp out your flame. And something that you're meant to do is share these ideas that you have, share this beautiful imagination that you have, be able to let out this dolphin energy that you have because it's so beautiful and pure and something that we really need in the world. But obviously when you have something beautiful and pure, there are so many people that want to destroy it just because. There's so many people that want to put it down because they themselves don't have access to their pureness and therefore want to put down other people's pureness, want to get rid of it because it shows them a side of themselves that they didn't want to see. And so you have this very valuable, beautiful side of yourself that you probably already have had to learn how to hide away, how to put it into a box and not let it see the world. But I see behind these scary teeth, behind this hard outer shell, there is still that beautiful pureness inside of you, and it just wants to be let out. It wants to be shared to the world. As far as careers go, something that just came to mind is maybe working with children could be something that you really enjoy because you're able to connect to them. You see that the child in them is still alive, that pure, happy energy is still alive within them. If not working with children, maybe counseling could be something that you're into, helping adults who have lost that inner child, lost that pureness, find their way back to it again. Because I don't think that side of us ever dies. I think that you have a very strong energy within you where, it's still within you even though it had to be hidden away. Maybe you can't express it as clearly as you used to. But I think a lot of people just shut it out completely. They try to push it down, hide it. They don't let themselves be vulnerable. They don't let themselves explore healing their inner child. They don't let themselves be childish anymore. And something that you can bring to the world is that childlike energy again, that imagination again. Something I see is even as an adult, you could be the type to play with crayons on those kid menus that you get at restaurants. And to other adults that might be seen as looked down on, oh, so childish, grow up. And it's you're not doing anything wrong. You're having fun. And there's this stigma around letting yourself be vulnerable, letting yourself be free, because I feel like a lot of people hide away that side of themselves because it hurts so bad to get hurt when you're vulnerable. And they also feel like if they're too open, too honest, too childlike, they'll get hurt even worse and not be loved because they're so vulnerable. They're not putting up this shell of who they should be. And so many people forget about who they really want to be. They have this fake version of themselves put up, and they're never truly able to connect with people, never truly able to be loved for who they are, because they're always putting up this hard outer shell. They're always putting up this facade of who they really are. But you still have that purity inside of yourself. And something that your soul wants to do is not just help yourself reconnect back to it, but also find those that have lost their way, find those who have had to shelter away the vulnerable side of themselves and help them find that again. That is something that your soul really wants to do. And also just sharing imagination and just being able to enjoy the child side of yourself. Like, it doesn't even need to be, to what end? It doesn't have to have an end. It doesn't have to have an end goal in mind. It could just be you enjoy playing with crayons because you enjoy playing with crayons. Or you like daydreaming and thinking about, imagination, pretending to be a superhero just because it's happy. It makes you happy. It makes you feel good. Not everything needs to be for a profit or for a certain end goal. Not everything needs to have a specific destination. And I feel like you are someone that just enjoys things for the sake of enjoying things. And that's what your soul wants to do. Your soul just wants to be in this playful energy. You see dolphins in the ocean playing on the waves and surfing and stuff. They don't need to do that to survive. They don't do that for an end goal. They just do it because they enjoy it. They do it because it's fun. And so many people have lost that. And I feel like along the way through your life, you have started to lose it as well a little bit. Not lose it fully, of course, but you've built this hard outer shell and these scary teeth to keep people from hurting that soft spot inside of you. But you still have it within you, and it is so powerful. And it is something that you will feel so happy to be able to explore and to connect to. And so, what your soul came here to feel. You have pain and the Hermit reversed. And when I first got this, when this card came out, the thing that came out of my mouth was, oof. Like, the thing that your soul came here to feel, pain. But, like I say, our souls chose the life that they did, and they chose to incarnate into our life the way that they did because they wanted to experience everything that we were going to experience. Your soul wanted to feel this pain. Your soul wanted to feel like it was shut out, to go on this journey on your own so that you could reconnect to this pure energy inside you. Because I think that your soul knew that the world isn't ready for this kind of pureness. The world isn't ready to see somebody be so vulnerable and open and free. Because like I said, there are so many people that are jealous of your ability to do this. So many people that wish that they could but are too scared to be open and free and vulnerable. And so they would want to put you down. They want to put you into a box just like everyone else is around them, just like they're in a box. But it's your job to break out of that box. You are meant to feel all this pain. You're meant to feel like you're on your own, to be distanced from this inner child that you have within you, so that you can learn how to go back to it, so that you can teach other people how to go back to it. And so why your soul would want to feel pain, your soul wants to learn how to overcome it and still have that childlike innocence to it. Because so many people, they quote unquote overcome pain, but really they're just shoving things deeper down. It takes so much more strength to overcome it and still find your way back to vulnerability. And that is something that your soul wants to learn and overcome and feel and help people overcome. Help people come back to it. And I think that is one of the reasons that you might enjoy being around kids, is because it's before they've been put in a box. I think before the age of 6 or 7, that's when kids start to feel self-conscious. But before that age, they're still so free. They let their imagination run wild. It's before they've learned to start dressing a certain way to hide certain insecurities, before they've started learning how to quote-unquote properly act. And so I think that you'd find a lot of healing in being around children that are, prior to that age, seeing what it was like to be so free because you were there once, learning how you can reconnect back to that energy, learning how you can teach other people to get back to that energy. Because I think what our world needs is a lot more compassion, a lot more healing, a lot more love, and learning how to embrace our inner child. Because there's this stigma around being childlike that it's wrong, that you need to grow up, that you need to stop acting like that, it's unbecoming. If it makes you happy, what's so wrong with it? And I think that we really have things backwards like that, and you are one of the people that are going to help people get back to this energy. What this world needs is a lot more compassion, a lot more vulnerability, a lot more softness. And we're really missing that. And I think that you've learned how to build this hard outer shell that you see in the crocodile card. Not to completely get rid of it, but to learn how to have softness and how to have strength in tandem. How to let yourself be pure and vulnerable and open and loving and childlike again, while still understanding that the world is the way that it is. You're not meant to just put blinders over your eyes and just act like a child again. You're meant to understand that the world is the way that it is. See the hurt, see the pain, see how everything has gone wrong, and still through that have the strength to persevere and change and say, I want to do better. That is what takes real strength. And so finally, with what your soul came here to experience, you have the Confidence card and the Eight of Wands reversed. And I think that you've been put down a lot throughout your life, not just in, like I said, like what made you shut away your inner child, but in general, maybe your looks were put down, maybe your intelligence was put down, maybe you were put into a box and said, this is who you are, you're not meant to be anything else. Maybe you were the bottom of your social hierarchy, and there's other people around you that are like the popular ones or the people that are the leaders of your friend group or something, and so you were meant to feel like you were the bottom. You were the bottom of the barrel. You were no good. And I think that you lack confidence and you're trying to find your way back to it. I think that you have a very strong desire to get back to it. And it's because your soul wanted to experience what it's like to no longer have all these things that put you down before. Like, imagine that they were bullets shooting you, putting you down, you're bleeding out on the ground. But as you strengthen, as you build confidence from within yourself, now it just feels like people are throwing like little pebbles at you. And then it feels like little grains of sand until it's like people are throwing these tiny little sticks that just bounce off you and they do nothing. That's what I see here with this card. Your soul wanted to experience, first of all, how bad these words can feel, how bad it can feel to be put down, but also how empowering it can feel to sit there in confidence and see those same things that used to put you down bounce off of you like nothing. To sit there with a smile on your face while people try to put you down and you don't feel anything for it because you know who you are. You're empowered just as you are. You're confident in who you are, and that's how you can build up other people. By getting over those things that made you so insecure, by no longer being prey to the things that used to put you down, and being truly confident. Not confident in the way that people put up facades and people change their bodies and change their faces and change the way that they act in order to be loved, but to be confident just as you are, the purest version of yourself. That is what your soul came here to experience. So, pile 3. That is everything that I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you did, feel free to subscribe and stick around because I do post about twice a week. But yeah, that's everything that I have for you. I hope that this brought you some clarity on some things and helped you understand yourself and your soul a little bit better. But that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.